morning, this is Nancy with Odonata Care, the care plan, and I'd like to tell you a story of one of the patients that I experienced that is very memorable to me. And this story will fit into the categories of both spiritual care, spiritual experience, and one unmade, medical aid in dying. I will call this gentleman Joe, and he came to me to be in hospice care because he had inoperable, I think it was intestinal cancer of some kind. I'm not sure that I even remember at this point. And he was very alert, oriented, incredibly able to care for himself, very functional. But he did have symptoms that needed to be managed related to, because of his abdominal problems, we needed to work on his bowels, etc. So once we got his symptoms managed, he was fairly comfortable, and yet he did continue to decline very, very slowly. I actually had Joe on my service for 18 months, which also demonstrates why hospice care can be so important and can last as long as a patient needs us. So let me tell you that one of the things that happened as I began to get to know him is that he started to share more intimate experiences about what had happened to him. And so what happened, in his words, or in his relating to me, was that he was having an exploratory surgery about his problem. And he tells me that he woke on the operating table. He was sure that he was awake, but he knew that no one in the surgical suite knew that he was awake. He was able to see what was happening, but people were moving all around him. They were not talking with him. He was unable to speak, but he was aware. And in this operating suite, he also saw 4 men who were in black, completely dark. The faces were blurred out, so he could not see a face. They were not at all intimidating. He didn't cause him any fear. And he was aware also that everyone who was actually on the operating team had no awareness of their presence. They stood at the side of the room and were watching the ongoing experience. He did hear that he was being closed up because there was nothing they could do, that his cancer had spread too far. He didn't have any feeling of, again, fear or worry about this, and he felt in that moment that these 4 black men were the spirits that would take him to the other side when his time was ready to be had. And so he recovered from his surgery, and because there was no treatment for his advanced cancer, he requested hospice care, and that's how I was so honored to become part of his life. And we got to know each other very deeply. He was an older man, and he was very wise, and I actually learned a lot about life from him, almost a father figure. And this just also demonstrates to you how incredibly blessed and honored we are to be in this job. We learn so much from the people that we care for. It's really a circular experience. What we give, we certainly receive. So, as the time went on, Joe did start to decline, but it was very slow, and he was getting extremely frustrated with how long it was taking. And then he decided he wanted to take advantage of the Oregon Life Choice Law, medical aid in dying. When he did it, it was actually called Death with Dignity, or it might have been physician-assisted death, I can't remember. So every once in a while, I would say to Joe, well, have you heard from your guys lately? And he would say, oh yeah, I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and one was bending over me to make sure I was okay, nodded his head, and then just quietly walked down the hall. Again, no words, didn't know who it was, no frightening experience. And then another experience, later when I asked him, I said, Joe, what about your guys? Have you heard them lately or seen them? He said, I was leaning over the sink brushing my teeth, and they had these beautiful white sinks with gold, very bright gold fixtures. And he said I could see in the reflection of the stopper as I was looking down, brushing my teeth, one of them leaning over my shoulder. And again, just nodded, everything's all right, and then off he went. It finally came to pass that Joe was really tired of living in the way that he was. He had become unable to really get out of the house to enjoy the life that he and his wife had come to enjoy. He couldn't go to restaurants or to a movie or anything, and he was tired of living. He wanted to make the choice to actually end his life. And so he decided to do that. He obtained the medications through the correct channels. They were in the home. He invited all of his family, his children, to come for a weekend. And I was lucky to be invited. They had a weekend party, a barbecue. They celebrated many, many life stories and experiences. And on the day that Joe decided to actually die, he did so. And he climbed into bed with his wife cuddled around him as he drank his medicine, and all of the family was actually gathered around him. He died about 15-20 minutes later, and of course I couldn't ask him if his 4 men were there to take him to the other side, but I've always believed that they were there for him. People ask me so often as a hospice nurse, when it's very late and their patient is comatose or very close, what's happening? Can they hear me? What's happening? Can they tell me what's going on? And I just calmly remind them that as much as I'm a part of watching people and helping them die comfortably, I'll never know until it's my turn. But it's the experiences that I had, such as with Joe, that give me such confidence and a feeling of comfort that the mystery will be revealed to all of us in our own time. Thank you for listening and honoring Joe, and I just wonder where he is now, and I won't know again until it's my turn. Okay, that's it for today. Please visit our website, thecareplan.net. Please watch all of our videos at YouTube, The Care Plan. We always aim to inform you about how to provide care to the people you love the most or people that you're taking care of. That's it for now.